years. The systems of oppression are telling us we are other and telling us we are a difference from what is normal when this is simply not true. We have been denied access to knowing this because to know that we stand with thousands of incredible trans ancestors is damaging to their systems of control. To deny our truths is a key piece in continuing to draw out any real change and keep the very basics of our human rights as fodder for discussion and sensationalism. We stand at what I'm sure a lot of us feel is a very pivotal moment in time, and what I'm sure a lot of us hope is a major tipping point. People are waking up, but with this comes pushback. With this comes heightened aggression, heightened bigotry, heightened forms of systematic abuse. The role of the people is to be controlled. When you have a group of people who in their very nature are more connected to themselves and the earth, who just by being who they are unplugged from the matrix and systems of control that's deemed normal, who just by existing challenge the very ideals that the world's puppeteers have created to control the masses, that is a threat. But you know why they're so threatened? Because we're right. The world's cracking open and people are tuned in. The racists, the transphobes, the evils of humanity are being exposed. It's now that we push even harder. We continue to take to the streets, we continue to be loud and unapologetic, and we demand for our rights. We stand here with the Black Lives Matter movement, holding the hands of our comrades, and we scream as loud as we can, trans lives matter, black lives matter, black trans lives matter. As an incredible writer, Bell Hooks once said, as more raise our consciousness and refuse to be pitted against one another, the forces of neo-colonial white supremacist domination must work harder to divide and conquer. So let us not be divided. Let us harness our collective energies and continue this fight, holding the hands of all of our marginalised siblings and make way for the new way of being. Racists, transphobes and the bigots are a dying breed. So let's give them the send-off they deserve, shall we?
Thanks, that's great. We've got some people who've joined us from Black Lives Matter, I believe. Please join us. This is a communal space, and please, when we are finished, you may take over. Certainly. Okay, our next speaker is a fantastic musician and a really good friend to Sparkle over many years. Husk!
Hi everyone. So as Annie has just said, I normally make music, so speaking is not really natural to me. Even the bits in between the songs, I normally kind of really fuck it up, it's awful. So you might have to bear with me a little bit, but I am a very proud trans-masculine person. I wouldn't say that I'm a trans man, but if you want to say that about me, that's absolutely fine. Non-binary is not necessarily right for me either. I just like queer. I think that covers everything. But I want to kind of talk a little bit about my experience growing up, because kind of the argument around trans rights is always we need to protect kids, and we need to protect trans kids. Growing up, I had absolutely no idea that I was trans because I was taught that it was not okay to be trans. Any kind of trans representation that I did see wasn't necessarily positive, and when I did see it, you know, friends and family brought the negativity. They told me, oh, you know, that's a man, you can't kind of do that thing. And then obviously I grew up really angry, really confused. And then I grew up kind of with a lot of problems in my life that have kind of carried on into adulthood. And for that reason, we absolutely have to support young trans people. We have to protect them, we have to support them. When I finally did see someone that was similar to me in the kind of slightest of ways, I managed to kind of come to the realization that I was trans, and then I found my power. I found that that's where I am. I found my feet. But with all the difficulties that we face, I wouldn't change it for the world. It is the best thing that has ever happened to me, is being trans and being allowed to have this kind of freedom that we have that many cis people that I know simply do not have. So I'm meant to be this way, and I want the trans folks to know that. I am a very proud, autistic, trans masculine person. And that's my nature, that is my biological nature, and I'm meant to be this way. I deserve respect, I deserve safety, and I deserve autonomy. I'm asking Liz Truss and the government to reform the GRA to allow for non-binary recognition and to drop intrusive and arbitrary information required that is designed to dehumanise trans people in order to get a gender recognition certificate. This purely exists to make us fit the cis narrative, but I do not want a law that requires me to assimilate to the cis narrative. Any so-called bathroom bill restricting trans people's choice should be scrapped, and instead, real protections for people who do not identify man, woman should be introduced. As a visible trans musician, I'm often the only one on the bill, which is fun. It means I get work, which is great. But also, it's quite a lot of pressure. And I often get asked kind of what advice I would give to other trans people, and it's this: never stop. Never stop being you, keep figuring yourself out, be authentic, but never stop. Our power is our strength and resilience and our increasing visibility, and look how visible we are today. Everybody fighting against the oppression from the cis, white, heteronormative society is stronger together. Let them hear our voice. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Husk is just one of many musicians and trans performers who have come to the fore in recent years. Of course, Anoni. Who knows Anoni? Absolutely, yeah, fantastic musician. We've got all the people who are currently on television: myself, Rebecca Root, Ash Palmasiano, Bethany Black, Riley Carter, Nicole Gibson, so many people who are coming to the fore to make it obvious that we are part of society, and in every form. I'm not only a patron of Sparkle, a proud patron, I'm also really proud to be part of Mermaids. Now everyone knows that Mermaids have come under the most horrific criticism over the past few years. This is a charity, an award-winning charity. They've had to buy a new room for the awards that have existed for 20 years to help counsel and basically make lives better for young trans people. Before Mermaids, there was nothing. That's it. Mermaids started small. When I first got involved with them 20 years ago, they were literally 20 people, that was it. They've now got permanent staff. They help thousands of trans children, increasing as it becomes obvious that trans is part of human life. It is not a quirk, it is not a trend, and it is not a perversion. It's part of humanity. And as humanity, we're not going to go away. So our next speaker, continuing this dialogue, is Tori Hermione Baker.
Hello, hello. Look at all you beautiful people. I'm Tori, I'm a proud trans woman. I've come up from Cornwall today to deliver a poem. Thank you. I've been travelling around the country bit by bit, going from march to march, ensuring that we're always visible. And there's a little bit to say in terms of that I am not here to ask for my rights. I'm not here to ask for many things, I'm here to demand it. It's long time, it's long time. So I wrote this poem some time back, a couple of years, and it's one of many poems that I'm kind of working on at the moment, but it was in a time that I went out to kind of grieve my mother's death, and it was the 10th anniversary, and I found myself sitting in a park just trying to find some space away from people, and all I got was taunts, rhetoric, getting called out, and so this poem is a little bit bittersweet. It's entitled, "This Tea, My Bittersweet Tea." This tea is for tired and time-worn, having to rise above the hate. This tea is the toughest steps to tread, to walk, imprint, or take. This tea is very truthful of what it means to fight truly alone. As today this tea was toxic, outed by another haggard crone. This tea is trite for transvestite, that word I always hear while walking by. This tea is for the tainted looks today, caught 1,000 times from judging eyes. This tea is to feel teased and taunted, being made to feel broken, that I'm the sham. This tea is to never be trusted, although the truth is what I am. This tea is just tough luck, alright? Inconsequential to the L, the G or the B. As this tea is inside intensity, that dysphoria has beaten deep in me. This tea is taboo, how you make me feel to be alive, myself or breathe. As this tea is to feel tarnished, passed by, nor wanted, always bequeathed. This tea seems to make you terrified of what others around you think. This tea was a tepid tolerance, but when needed, friendships seem to shrink. This tea isn't a threat to be threatened. It's in the hateful insults that are thrown. But still this tea is thankful. From birth I've lived you, carried you, grown. Some people are tea, intersex and non-binary. They are beautiful, they are worthy, deserving of equality. If you wouldn't mind repeating after me. I am beautiful. I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am enough. I am enough. I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am worthy. We have had enough. We have had enough. Thank you very much.
It's brilliant. Thank you, sorry. Okay, so just before our final listed speaker at the moment, I would ask you, those of you who've made some banners, can you raise them high? Because I'm going to do a readout of banners. This is important. So we've got trans lives matter, trans women are women. Trans rights are human rights, lots of that. TERFs get off my land. I like that. That almost needs to be said. TERFs get off my land. Needs to be down there, doesn't it? Yeah. Black Lives Matter, fantastic. Justice for Brianna. Say her name, Justice for Brianna. There's one over the back there, what is it? We will not be erased. Cis dykes versus trans strikes. We won't be silent so you can be impartial. I like that one. Let us be. Save us from suicide. Very important. That looks like a really heavy sign. Trans lives aren't a threat. Exactly. We're not a threat. Protect black trans lives. Trans lives are not up for debate. No justice, no peace. Trans rights now. These are all fantastic sentiments. J.K. Rowling is a sket. Okay, that's made me laugh the most today. Trans is beautiful, not up for debate. Trans well-being is everyone's issue. Shine bright. Respect existence or expect resistance. Very good. You know it's time for change. When children act like leaders and leaders act like children. Oh, that's great. Let me be perfectly queer. Trans lives matter. Proud nanny. Not a threat. Just let me live. Butch Dykes for trans lives. Thank you so much for all your statements and your banners of intent here today. And we're all saying the same thing, is that we're here, we're queer, and we're going nowhere! I am losing my voice, you'll notice. It starts to go deeper, then it starts to crack, it's rubbish. I've normally got a little microphone hovering above my head when I'm Sally, so I can talk in quiet and peaceful terms like Miss Jean Brodie in school, headmistress, you know. Okay, I would like to call up now the acting chair of Sparkle to speak, Mr. Lee Clatworthy.
Hello again. Before I speak, I'd just like to say thank you to a few people. Firstly, our wonderful patron Annie Wallace for holding everything together. My colleagues Jay Crawford, Vicky Mulligan and Stephen Stockton, who unfortunately can't be here this afternoon, who helped make this event possible. Our other volunteers, including Andy, our signer. And the team from Serenity Security who've given their time for free today. Also, everyone who has spoken. You've all been amazing. Lastly, you, the 70%. The people who will hopefully leave this event with a renewed energy and passion to fight against oppression. The oppression of your trans siblings. The oppression of queer, trans and intersex people of colour. The oppression of the entire black community. As a cisgender white man, you might ask why I'm fighting for equality for trans people, black people, and other marginalised minorities. I'm doing fine. My ethnicity, my gender identity is never going to hold me back. It's because I can't stand back and remain silent whilst so many people in our society are being oppressed, because that will make me complicit in that oppression. This weekend was meant to be the 16th Sparkle Weekend, the world's largest free-to-attend celebration of gender diversity. But I don't feel like celebrating because my heart is breaking. As a cisgender white man, I have to do better. As cisgender white people, we have to do better. We have to educate ourselves on the systems of oppression, and we must work together to dismantle them. Who we are and how we choose to present our individual identity is an inalienable human right. How can we enjoy that freedom if our trans and non-binary siblings can't? How can we enjoy our freedom if people of colour can't? We aren't just the 70%, we are humanity, and all humans are equal and valid and incredible. Carry on being incredible. Carry on furthering Sparkle's mission to further the inclusion and acceptance of everyone, regardless of their differences. Our differences make us incredible. You are all incredible. Thank you. Now, I believe that there are some people from the audience who'd like to say a few words, so if you'd like to make your way to the front for me, thank you very much.
Can people hear me? Yeah. Hi, my name is Neela Ashraf. I'm the co-chair of Stand Up to Racism in Greater Manchester, and I just wanted to say that we stand with you. And I want to say, as black activists, our struggle is your struggle, because we recognise that the system that allows black men in America to be shot with impunity by the police is the same system that allows black people in Britain to be stopped and searched constantly. The same system that means black people will disproportionately be impacted by COVID. And the very same system that means we have to have demonstrations like this, where as trans we have to stand there and ask for our rights. It is the same system that's holding us all back. And I want to say it's fantastic that you're out demonstrating today, and I'm so proud to be standing with you guys, because we recognise that everything we have achieved, whether it's black people, whether it's women, whether it's trans, everything that we have achieved from fighting. Nothing has ever been given to us. But I want to say this, and other people have said it, but I just want to repeat it. This is not a moment, this is a movement for change. We are not going to go back into our box. The Black Lives Movement has shown us Black Lives Matter, but trans lives matters just as much. And I want to say this, the power of the Black Lives Movement is about this. It's not just fighting for justice for black people, it's recognising that the system is a problem. It's not just racism, it's the system. And that's why our struggle is your struggle. It is the same system oppressing all of us. And you know what? It's that same system that I fight against that tells you that Muslim women like me have a problem with people like you. It is that system that wants to divide us. It is that system that wants us to blame each other. Well, that's what we're standing against. Today we stand in unity and in solidarity with each other's causes, because we recognise that the cause is the same. The system that oppresses you is the same system that oppresses me. So I want to say thank you for coming out today. Let's keep building the movement. And let's bring this system activists here today. We were going to have a demonstration. That demonstration will take place now. After all these speakers have spoke, we'll carry on fighting together, building the movement together, and let's make real history. Because that's what this is. We are making history.
I'll follow that. Hello, I'm Celia. I'm here as a socialist. I'm a lesbian activist, and I am stand here in solidarity with my trans brothers, sisters, and siblings. We have to be absolutely clear that trans men are men and trans women are women. And I have to say, now, I want to thank on behalf of the Socialist Workers' Parties, Sparkle, for calling this demonstration today. Absolutely brilliant. We are the 70%. And we're meeting here today in a time of pandemic, in a time with the worst possible government that we could possibly have under Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson only wants to stand with the rich. He doesn't care about our lives. And all he wants to do in this situation, where he should be saving lives, is actually hitting out and spreading bigotry. Instead of supporting trans people, he wants to oppress trans people. And we have to say that for every single one of us, we have to say that the trans people have the right to self-identify. We all have the right to self-identify. Everywhere. In every workplace, there can be no excuse. We have to insist that our trade unions demand the right to self-identify however you want, everywhere. I'm a trade unionist, I'm a shop steward. I remember when we had to, in the trade unions, fight for lesbian, gay and bisexual rights. Now we have to make sure that our trade unions stand with our trans colleagues. I am proud to stand with my trans colleagues, with my trans family, with my trans comrades and my trans neighbours. And when I see what Boris Johnson wants to do in this country, and then I stand here, I know they're standing together. We are the solution. We are the solution to the horrors of the capitalist system, because we stand together, we stand with each other, and we will always stand with each other. And I want to say one other thing, because there are some people who say that trans people, and especially trans women, are some kind of threat to women's rights and lesbians' rights. Let us absolutely be clear that we reject this 100%. I want to thank trans people. I want to thank trans people for the inspiration and the liberation. It is you that helped me finally come to terms and come out as a lesbian. I thank you for that. You are brilliant and amazing. This is capitalism, it's an oppressive system. It wants to impose a binary on people, a binary on our genders. And we have to, and somebody said earlier, LGBT people, we've always been here. We will always be here, and we will always fight to be here and fight to be equal parts of our society. But it's right, we're not just arguing for trans rights. We're not just arguing for our rights, we're not just begging for our rights. We want liberation. We want full gender, sexual liberation, and nothing else will do. And so we have to put the message. We are not going back to business as usual. At the end of this pandemic, we are not going back to business as usual. We want trans rights, we want sexual liberation, we want an end to oppression and injustice. So Boris Johnson and your rich mates, you beware, because we are coming for you. We are the solution. We want a better society. We want to overcome capitalism. We want a socialist society that stands with everybody, where there is no oppression, where there is no poverty, where there is no injustice. Nothing less will do.